Dixon Osaje joins us on the program. Is the MD of Debris Protection Services, joins us virtually. Mr. Osaje, you're welcome to the program.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Well, there were incidents in Borno over the weekend, Zamfara, Niger, and as we said earlier on, we recorded some losses, unfortunately, of members of the Nigerian armed forces, but we also recorded gains, some wins by the military. And we'll talk about some of these events, how they're linked and what to do moving forward. But I just want to get your comments quickly on the statement by the Minister of Defense regarding the attempted coup and the explanation he gave around why the military sort of denied the attempted coup last year, saying they were trying to essentially ensure that nobody escapes. But this came at a time where the news was out already. In fact, the question was asked based on the news that got out that officers had been arrested as a result of an attempted coup. So it was widespread. So how, again, do you situate that? Because it looks like there's been a trend of maybe denial or not entirely coming out. We saw it happen in Kaduna last month, where there was a kidnapping, you recall, and there was outright denial by government. Even people in that area, people that were meant to represent the people, denied the issue with the aircraft as well. So it looks like there's been that trend. But hearing the minister's explanation, does it account for that denial, maybe?
Thank you very much, Kayode. I think this is the time we need to start speaking about the credibility of the Nigerian military when it comes to information management and also information sharing. Because I tell you, when the military denied the incident that went viral about the coup, we know, and I strongly believe, that there was actually a coup d'etat attempt. But the military must understand that they are the topmost agency that protect the national integrity of our great country, and they must not be so swift in coming out to respond to an incident. Nobody is pointing a gun to your neck to speak. It's either you decline statement or you speak. It's two options, but not to come and lie to the public. Each time you do that, what you do, you are losing credibility, and the military must never, Nigerian military precisely, must never, ever lose its credibility when it comes to communicating with the Nigerian people. They must say A or B, yes or no. I had expected the spokesperson to come and say, okay, we are still working on it. We'll get back to Nigerians, but not to deny this issue blatantly. I think it's a very, very disturbing situation, because tomorrow, if anything happens and the Nigerian military, Nigerian police, tries to give out their own side of the story, Nigeria will not believe them. That is why we must be very careful when it comes to information. And sometimes people claim that people state that in law an accused is presumed innocent until proven otherwise or guilty in a competent court of law. But when it comes to security management, Kayode, any information received should be considered true until that information is being processed and passes through scrutiny, and you filter the information, take what you want and disperse what you don't need. Then you can come out and address the public. So like the last incident about the abduction, where a commissioner of police came aboard and denied, was very shameful. What they should have done is to tell the public to relax, with no comment for now, we are investigating. So my point home is that the Nigerian military spokesperson needs to run some training on information sharing and communicating with the Nigerian people, and also the Nigerian police spokesperson should as well do that, so that they all be in unity to ensure that they don't pass wrong information to the Nigerian people. I heard the Minister of Defense loud and clear. He gave one or two reasons why they actually denied. That reason is not justifiable. That is a lie. What that implies is that the Nigerian military has lied to its own people, whom they sworn an allegiance to protect.
Not even in this age where information has been democratized. I mean, everybody has access to information, right? And the people are no fools, they can tell. So it's always best to come forth with the truth. But let's speak to the activities of the armed forces over the weekend. In Borno State, troops of the Joint Task Force Operation Hadinkai recorded yet another significant operational success with the neutralization of top Boko Haram and ISWAP leader Abu Khalid, identified as the second in command of Boko Haram in Sambisa Forest, alongside 10 other terrorists during that operation. Thankfully, in that particular one, no casualty was recorded among our own troops. But the one in Zamfara State, where troops overran bandit kingpin Gwaska Dan Karami's stronghold and neutralized scores, sadly led to the death of some soldiers. The number was not specified. These soldiers paid the supreme price during the encounter, while one combat enabler vehicle was hit by a rocket-propelled grenade, resulting in a fire outbreak. And then in Niger State as well, suspected terrorists attacked Agwara local government area, killing one person and burnt down the UMCA and a police station. Mr. Saji, these events, they're mixed bag, really, wins and losses. Is there a way to sort of link them and maybe project into where we're at now and where we will be with this kind of operations?
Oh, fantastic. I can tell you for free that there are links between this engagement. And that's why when you look at the three strategy in countering terrorism, the link factor is a very, very important factor when it comes to management or, countering terrorism. The resource is very important. Also, the mobilization factor is also very important. Why these three factors, the three Ds are very important, is that it assists the military to push in on these very people. But I want to tell you one thing today, and I've said it on many fora. The killing of terrorists is not victory, and it will never be a victory or sign of victory. It's not a sign of victory. The killing of terrorists is, just like a normal engagement between the military and these guys, because they also kill our officers, which is very regrettable. When you look at these guys, look at their training and also their, attack methodology, and also look at the Nigerian military, our brave soldiers who are putting their lives on the line to protect this country. It's not equatable. You can't equate the Nigerian military with these terrorists, and thus sometimes I tend to worry how they keep on surviving and also sustaining this momentum by our gallant military officers and men. But Kayode, I must tell you the truth that the Nigerian military have done so well. They've been doing so well, but we must remember that for us to, achieve success, we must bring Nigeria to a state of peace and also bring these terrorist-prone states to a state of peace. Because each time you kill these guys, they tend to employ more fighters. So what's the objective? That means we are wasting our aviation diesel. We are also wasting our arms and ammunition. That's why I've advised that the military should start hitting so hard on terrorism financiers, hit so hard on terrorism sponsors, and also go after their commanders. That alone, you will demoralize the fighting spirit and capability of these terrorist guys. But when you look at the dynamics of Nigerian terrorism incidents, you discover that most times these guys are being amplified, by the media. Because, for example, the military have been sustaining a lot of victory, but the military don't come on board to publish such victory often. And I've advised on many fora that the military to start looking at publicizing every single victory. Even if they kill a mosquito that is close to these terrorist guys, they should publicize it. This will tend to demoralize would-be fighters or would-be terrorists, and also demotivate their fighters, because we need to start looking at, conquer and divide. So for me, Kayode, I think this attack is disturbing, and we have no reason to have our soldiers and officers trained very hard in the Defense Academy and the Depot Nigerian Army, and here come and be killed so cheaply. We must look at seeing how we can protect them, looking at, force protection, and also ensure that every commander, be it a section commander, platoon commander, company commander, battalion commander, has a unit of drone officers, and I've advised that the Nigerian military should start looking at, establishing a drone battalion. What this drone battalion would do for the Nigerian military is that in the 4 regions of the country, we should have a drone battalion or drone division, whereby these drone battalions will assist these soldiers. Even if you are sending a section of soldiers, 10 soldiers, or a platoon of soldiers to go and engage these terrorists, they must be accompanied by drone surveillance, whereby these drones go ahead of them and also carry out a reconnaissance within the enemy territory and ensure that it passes signals to the drone officer. The drone officer will go back to the commander and say, hey, sir, there's enemy suspected position, and if we advance further, I think we'll be attacked and eliminated. So what these guys do is that, having sighted these terrorists from the drones reports, then they try to eliminate these terrorists and also see how they can protect themselves. Kayode, is so sad that we see our officers dying every day, and it's very painful. We salute the gallantry effort of the Nigerian military, the Nigerian Army, Navy, and Air Force. They've been doing so well, and also the Nigerian police as well. It's not easy, but what we need to do is to ensure that Nigerians comes together and support these guys, and support our brave officers, just in the area of intelligence sharing, because the Nigerian military as at now needs effective intelligence to ensure that they clean up these guys protecting our territorial space. Only if we also bring in border protection, border security, because it's very important that we start looking at shutting down most of these irregular routes where these guys are smuggling in their resources from. That is the area of the resourcing. Then also see how they go into the Nigerian people, and enlist their fighters. The marketing these very guys will be very good for the Nigerian military and the Nigerian government.
Interesting, and the Minister of Defense did speak about border protection yesterday, saying a lot was being done, but outcomes is not what he particularly spoke to. But we know, well, thankfully, that 80 worshippers abducted in Kaduna some weeks back, 80 out of the more than 100 have now returned, according to reports, and the military is attributing that to intensified operations around their enclaves, I believe in Kaduna. But since December, and I wonder if you're making those observations as well, Mr. Saji, we've had some significant successes under General Christopher Musa as Minister of Defense. But the question is, how much accountability is also shaping this measure of successes that we're recording in the fight against banditry and insurgency, especially when you recall the abduction of people in communities and the return of those people without clear explanation about how they were returned. And we can also speak to so many other elements, shaping the fight against insurgency under this administration. How much accountability are you seeing that is coming through from this particular security trend?
Fantastic, Bukola. General Christopher is a fantastic and brilliant military officer, one of the finest military general, and I tell you that he's doing very well, but we must understand that him alone will not, succeed in this fight against terrorism without collaboration from his officers and men, and also from the military. But we applaud General Mustafa for his, brilliant orders given to the service chief, and also, unifying the service chief, the Army, Navy, and Air Force. Because what the military needs now is collaboration, Give kudos to the Air Force, because the Nigerian Air Force, I tell you, Bukola, in the past 16 years has been doing so well, hovering our skies and also ensuring that they carry out what we call psychological deterrence, because no terrorists want to be bombarded. The Nigerian Air Force have been doing so well, and the Nigerian Army as well have been doing so well. So these three components, the Army, Navy, and Air Force have been doing so well. But what we need now, Bukola, is that we need to have a lot of synergy, not just within the military. The Nigerian military should also see how, they work with the police and also the DSS, because the police is solely responsible for internal security. But as it stands, I must tell you that we are winning the war, and also for us to succeed in winning this war, we must ensure that our officers and men stay motivated and stay, compensated. Sometimes I ask myself, what is the average pay given to a soldier, chasing these enemies they never created? What is the average pay given to officers chasing these enemies they never created? I'll tell you that most of these officers and men have left their parents, their wives and children, their families, in the past 1, 2, 3 years, trying to bring Nigeria to a state of positive peace. And when we have officers and men putting their life on the line, then that tells you that the Nigerian military precisely must not take the financiers and sponsors of terrorism for granted. They must go all out for all these guys, because you can't be losing your men and same times, petting most of these guys, terrorist sympathizers. And that's why sometimes I tend to worry, is it that Sheikh Gumi is bigger than the Federal Republic of Nigeria, because this is a man that has sympathy or, sympathize with this terrorist group. And I want to ask, if his wife and children were among those being kidnapped or killed or raped by these bandits and terrorists, will he have also, spoken on their behalf? So Nigeria should start looking at getting hold of terrorism sympathizers as well, so that we'll be able to pass a message that terrorism is not a joke, because this is really putting us in a bad light. Then also the Nigerian military should please try to see how they ensure that officers and men don't die so cheaply, having been trained so hard. We must have all components in place, all fighting mechanisms in place. Give them more arms and ammunition. I saw a video going viral about a soldier complaining that he was just giving 16 rounds. 60 rounds, 60 persons. One bullet cannot kill 2 people. So if you give some soldiers 60 rounds in this very deadly operation, it is an intentional operational error in the side of the Nigerian army. So you need to ensure that they have a lot of arms and ammunition, and never again should you have these terrorists overrunning the military base or the army base. They are not powerful or as trained as our soldiers. So I think we need to get some operational strategy, treated, and also deployment strategy. Don't leave a soldier in the battlefield for so long. Most times we see our soldiers, that's why you see that they've been overstretched. You know, battle fatigue is a very dangerous plight in the human mind, because every battle begins from the mind. When you take a soldier to the front line, let him or her know when he or she is coming back home to reunite with his family. If you don't do that, the fighting spirit depreciates and dissipates, and that is going to affect the operationability of the Nigerian army. And that's why most times when this attack comes, these soldiers, some of them tend to run away, because if you don't know when you are going back home, you run away. The Nigerian soldiers are naturally motivated and one of the most strongest and gallant forces in Africa. We just only need to motivate them, look into the operational errors, deployment strategy. Don't put 5, 10 soldiers or send 10, 20 soldiers to enemy suspected position where you know that they will be, enveloped and not come back home. So the Nigerian army needs to go back and re-strategize. 2026 is a year for strategy. Re-strategize your operation, deployment strategy, 9 years, 9 months, 10 months, 1 year maximum. Send them back home so that they will refresh and come back to the battlefield, not just leave them indefinitely, most times 3, 4 years in the battlefield. That is a deployment error and an operational error the Nigerian army needs to treat.
I'm happy, Mr. Sajay, you served in the military, so you know how to look from inside out and outside in now. As far as the military is concerned, one of the things I appreciate about General Musa is the fact that he knows how to speak his mind. It doesn't matter whether you agree with him or you don't agree with him. He will speak his mind because he's a professional soldier, true and true. One of the things he mentioned, which is what I want you to speak to, there has to be a way to incentivize professionalism in our military. We know that certain appointments are political. We cannot debate that. But generally speaking, from what you know, are these military men treated fairly in terms of promotion, payment, given our current reality? By our current reality, I mean our economy. So because for every promotion, there's going to be additional pay, additional allowances, and all of that. So do you think that we're incentivizing professionalism enough that some people will not say, okay, since you don't want to get in I can't get what I want, maybe if I chase this government out, that's the right way to go, which we all disagree is not the right way, which we all agree, rather, is not the right way to go.
Well, fantastic. Regrettably, Geoffrey, this coup d'etat is a disturbing situation. Right from 1966, during the first coup that took place on 15 January 1966, it was regional based, and the counter coup of 1966 also came about to flush out the January 1960 coup. Then the next coup we had was the 1975 coup. Also a 1976 coup, then also the overthrow of Shagari in 83, and also overthrow of General Buhari 85, and also the Gideon Orka coup, and also the Palace coup that took place in Abuja when General Abacha, took out Shonuko. So for me, I've seen a trend from this military coup from 1966, and what I see and what I could tag there is that most of these officers and men are greedy, and I tell you that the constitution of Nigeria should be allowed to prevail. Because the reasons during this coup is that the military, these coup plotters cite corruptions and election rigging. If you check the overthrow of the First Republic, the Nigerian army, the officers cited election rigging and corruption, and also the 1983 coup, they also cited election rigging and corruption. But within the military, army taking over from army, they cited, like General Buhari, they cited harsh treatment of his officers and men, and also the brutality of the Nigerian people. But bringing this together, what I can see is that the Nigerian government should start looking at checking the causative factors. That's why I try to highlight the reasons why most of this coup took place in 1966. But for me, I see it as love for power. That is a major factor, because there's no reason for any person to overthrow a sitting government or a constitutional established government of the day. That is what we classify as a mortal risk. Taking this mortal risk simply implies that when you fail, you are prepared to die. And that's what General Mustafa says. They all know the consequences. But good enough for them, we are in a civilian dispensation, and also if the military are done with court martial, they have to, go for appeal through the High Court, Appeal Court, and also Supreme Court, which is going to also determine their fate. But for me, I will try to advise the Nigerian officers and men to ensure that they dissociate themselves from such character. But I have to advise this guy, the Nigerian government needs to start doing well. And these officers and men, we need to also ask them, why do they want to eliminate President Tinubu, a democratically elected president? And I tell you, some of them want to say maybe they are not being taken care of or well taken care of. And I went through the list, Geoffrey. 98% of those guys are Northerners. And I think from going by their names, I don't want to be religious here. I think most of them are Muslims. And we have a dispensation of Muslim tickets. So I'm trying to see what their anger is and what really motivated them to see how they will take over from this government. General Mustafa have said it loud and clear. They know the consequences of their action before they carried out this. Then looking at motivation, Geoffrey, I will be very honest. I think by the grace of God, I've made over 700 appearances all over the world, both local and international. And Law for Nation is all about telling truth to power. It's not about lying and, shading the facts from the government. The Nigerian army is not doing so well for its officers and men. If you go to the front line, for example, like those officers in the Northeast and Northwest, in exception of their salary, what is their risk allowance? Their risk allowance is not up to $50. Maybe, for example, 60,000 naira as risk allowance, fighting all through the month. That is very, very poor. I advise that every soldier in the front line minimum risk allowance should not be less than 500,000 naira. This is going to motivate them and also ensure that they are welfare, they are well taken care of, and also they are, given opportunity to reunite with their family frequently, so that their battle fatigue does not depreciate. So the Nigerian army military should work on the motivation of its officers and men. Geoffrey, there is nothing too big to pay someone who puts his life on the line to protect his people. Like most of us that are Christians today, worship Jesus Christ because we're so glad that he laid his life on the cross for you and I. So if we worship him till eternity, then how well will a government think that whatever they give to the officers and men is so much? No. Any amount you pay these officers and men putting their lives on the line is never too much. They want it, they deserve it, and they must be honored any day, anytime, anywhere, to the end of time.
And that's a very valid point to make and a great place to anchor. There's also been concerns around military officers smuggling arms on board aircraft, threatening airlines and airport staff. We understand that the minister is going to have some sort of conversation with the president on that, just to put it out there. But Mr. Osagie, we have to thank you so much. We're speaking with Mr. Dixon Osagie, MD Debris Protection Service. We wish you the very best.
Thank you for having me. God bless you, and God bless Nigeria.
Well, we'll take a quick break now, and when we return, yes, the Labour Party has been meeting, well, it depends on what side of Labour Party anyway. The APC also has been having its meeting and welcoming people officially into its fold, but then there's a PDP as well. What exactly is going on? Stay with us. We'll be right back.